Vroom, vroom, vroom. Wouldn't it be cool to be a motorcycle guy? Even cooler to be our next guest. Paul Sr., you've seen his show, Orange County Choppers.
10 years on reality TV with his jaw-dropping chopper builds.
Paul Tuttle Jr. is a custom motorcycle designer who spent 10 years living his life in front of the camera as one of the stars of the hit Discovery Channel shows, American Chopper.
Do you still remember American Chopper, the reality show that redefined television? With family drama, roaring engines, and custom bikes built under fire? Behind the sparks and shouting, its cast lived lives shaped by pressure, sacrifice, and secrets the cameras couldn't capture. Some broke away to chase freedom, and others carried wounds that never fully healed. Join us as we revisit these unforgettable members, uncovering the struggles and tragedies that followed them long after the cameras stopped rolling. Paul Tuttle Sr. As the face of American Chopper, Paul Tuttle Sr. built Orange County Choppers from the ground up.
I'm Paul Tuttle Sr. from Orange County Choppers, and you're watching Born to Ride TV.
Transforming a small shop into a global brand. For years, he stood as the iron-willed leader of OCC, steering it through fame, fortune, and pressure. Fans admired his toughness, but that relentless drive came at a heavy cost. The strain showed most at home. His relationship with his son Paul Jr. became the centerpiece of the show, equal parts magnetic and destructive. Their explosive shouting matches defined American Chopper, captivating viewers even as they tore the family apart. What began as a dream of building bikes together turned into a battlefield of pride, jealousy, and broken trust. Lawsuits followed, harsh words piled up, and the Tuttle's unity unraveled before millions. Away from the cameras, Paul Sr. battled challenges of his own. By 2018, financial troubles caught up with him, forcing him to file for bankruptcy with over $1 million in debt. To cover losses, he sold properties, scaled back the empire, and even closed the original OCC shop in New York, a crushing moment for fans who had watched bikes roll out of its doors for years. Still, he refused to quit. Relocating operations to Florida, he launched the OCC Roadhouse and Museum.
Orange County Choppers. I am here in Clearwater, Florida to introduce you to the OCC Roadhouse and Museum, where brews and bikes are front and center.
Part fresh start, part tribute to the legacy he'd built. Yet the truth was undeniable. Paul Sr. had lost more than money. He had lost the closeness of his family. Then, in early 2019, his world shifted again. After an ordinary day, he felt chest pain. At first, he brushed it off, but the discomfort worsened, culminating in a massive heart attack. Fans who remembered his fire and energy on screen were stunned, and many noticed something else. Behind the bluster, Paul Sr. now carried a look of regret. Paul Tuttle Jr. While his father was the face of American Chopper, Paul Tuttle Jr. was its creative heart. Born on October 2, 1974, the eldest Tuttle son left his mark from the very first season. As chief designer and fabricator, he turned raw metal into rolling art, crafting intricate designs that gave Orange County Choppers its soul. Fans quickly saw the contrast. Paul Sr. brought the fire, but Paul Jr. brought the vision. Working under his father's shadow, however, came at a steep price. Paul Sr. demanded control. Paul Jr. demanded freedom. The OCC shop, instead of a family business, often felt like a battlefield. Every episode heightened the tension: authority versus creativity, father versus son. By 2008, the conflict reached its breaking point. After one explosive argument too many, Paul Jr. was fired. What followed wasn't just a business split, it was a family fracture broadcast to millions. Lawsuits and ownership battles piled on, and for a time the Tuttle legacy seemed ready to collapse under its own bitterness. But Paul Jr. refused to let the feud define him. In 2009, he launched Paul Jr. designs. Finally free to build on his own terms, the gamble paid off. His shop produced bikes for major names like Blizzard Entertainment and Paramount Pictures, proving his artistry thrived outside OCC's walls. The rivalry resurfaced in 2010 with American Chopper, Senior versus Junior, giving fans a front-row seat to their fractured bond while showcasing Paul Jr.'s independence. Off-screen, his life evolved. He married, became a father, and shifted his focus toward family and faith. Paul Jr. survived the storm, but not without scars. Michael "Mikey" Tutul. Affectionately known as Mikey, Michael Tutul was the soul of American Chopper. While his father, Paul Sr., and brother Paul Jr. clashed in battles that often split the shop apart, Mikey stood out as the peacemaker. With his lighthearted humor and easygoing personality, he diffused tension and reminded everyone there was still family beneath the chaos. To many viewers, he was the glue that made the show human. But behind the jokes, Mikey was struggling. The endless feuds and mounting pressure at Orange County Choppers took a toll. At first, he turned to drinking as a way to cope. What began as a release soon became a dangerous escape, numbing the pain, but slowly consuming him. By 2009, the weight grew unbearable. The constant filming, tight deadlines, and the emotional strain of watching his family tear each other apart pushed him to step away. His presence on screen faded until he finally made the painful decision to leave. For fans, his absence marked the loss of the show's heart. Away from the cameras, Mikey faced his demons head-on. He entered rehab, spoke openly about needing help, and began rebuilding his life. He explored new paths, opening an art gallery, dabbling in comedy, and even trying his hand at a pasta sauce business called FarQ. More recently, he's found his voice again through podcasts, reflecting on OCC while sharing his own journey. Mikey never sought fame. His love for creativity and motorcycles was genuine. Fans remember him as the heart of the shop, the one who could turn shouting into laughter. Yet his story also carries quiet tragedy. Rick Petco. From the earliest days of American Chopper, Rick Petco stood out as one of the most skilled craftsmen in the shop. Known for his calm focus and unmatched fabrication skills, Rick quickly became a fan favorite. While others raised their voices in heated arguments, Rick kept his head down, letting his steady hands and sharp eye for detail do the talking. His bikes weren't flashy for the sake of attention. They were solid, timeless, and crafted with quiet pride. Even as chaos unfolded around him, Rick remained grounded. When Paul Jr. eventually left OCC after clashing with his father, Rick made the choice to stay with Paul Sr. It was a decision that highlighted his loyalty, but it also placed him in the middle of the Tutul family's bitter feud. Still, Rick refused to let the drama distract him. For him, the shop wasn't about shouting matches, it was about the work. But life had a way of testing him outside the cameras. In 2009, Rick was involved in a devastating motorcycle crash in Newburgh, New York. The impact left him with severe chest and leg injuries, multiple broken bones, and internal damage. He was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgeries, and recovery soon became his full-time focus. The man who once seemed unshakable on screen was suddenly forced to learn how to walk again without pain. For his fans, the news was heartbreaking. His absence from the show was deeply felt. After his time on American Chopper, Rick returned to his first love, metalwork. He became the chief fabricator at Pocono Mountain Harley-Davidson and started his own venture, RPD and Company.
Welcome to Pocono Mountain Harley-Davidson. Here we have a huge selection of Harley-Davidson motorcycles. We have parts and accessories. We have an authorized service department,
where he crafted handmade knives, wedding bands, and custom projects out of his home forge. He didn't leave the show because of scandal or family conflict, but because life pushed him to take a different road. Still, his departure marked a turning point. For many fans, Rick represented the working soul of OCC, the man who kept the builds alive when tempers threatened to tear everything apart. His absence left a quiet void, one that could never truly be filled. And yet, Rick wasn't the only behind-the-scenes powerhouse who shaped the success of American Chopper. Another name that always comes up when fans remember the golden years is Vincent DiMartino, the builder who could turn ordinary bikes into pure art. Vincent "Vinny" DiMartino. If there was ever a man who quietly carried American Chopper on his shoulders, it was Vincent DiMartino, better known as Vinny. He wasn't the loudest voice in the room, and he didn't care much for the spotlight. Instead, he poured his energy into the work itself. Whenever a bike rolled out of Orange County choppers with that extra touch of artistry, you could almost always trace it back to Vinny's steady hands. Even before the cameras showed up, Vinny was already a builder at heart. He and Paul Jr. had known each other since high school, and their friendship eventually led to long hours side by side at OCC, turning raw frames into one-of-a-kind machines. Fans admired how Vinny seemed unshaken by the constant chaos in the shop. While others argued and raised their voices, he stayed focused, building with precision and care. Then came the turning point in 2007. His path had changed. That same year, he quietly walked away from OCC altogether, not with a fight, but with a decision to chase freedom. He launched V-Force Customs, a shop where he could build on his own terms. Later, he briefly reunited with Paul Jr. at Paul Jr. Designs, proving that their friendship endured beyond the family feud. Eventually, Vinny shifted into a new chapter, running DiMartino Motorsports, and later DiMartino Industries, where he focused on cars, trucks, and fabrication outside the television spotlight. For fans, Vinny's departure left a void. He showed that not every hero needs to stand at the center of the drama. Sometimes the truest measure of strength is knowing when to walk away. And yet, while Vinny chose his exit, others from the American Chopper family never had that chance. One of them was Cody Connolly, the young apprentice who grew up before our eyes. Cody Connolly. Cody Connolly was just a teenager when he joined American Chopper, and his youthful energy immediately stood out. While the shop floor was often dominated by loud voices and fiery tempers, Cody quietly learned the craft under the guidance of Paul Jr. and Vinny. He wasn't the most outspoken or skilled member of the crew, but he was dependable, always ready to dive into the next project. Cody quickly became the little brother of the team, a fresh face who represented the future of custom motorcycles. His journey, however, was far from easy. Being on national television brought constant pressure, and the work itself was grueling. Still, Cody pushed through, proving that even the youngest in the shop could keep pace with the veterans. In 2007, Cody made a bold move. He left Orange County Choppers to join Vinny at V-Force Customs, eager to carve out his own identity beyond the Two-Tool name. For Cody, it was a chance to step out of the shadows and grow as a builder. While he later returned briefly to OCC, the reunion didn't last. The same issues of long hours and behind-the-scenes tension resurfaced, leaving him disillusioned with the place where he had gotten his start. Eventually, Cody's frustrations spilled into the open. He filed a lawsuit against OCC and Paul Sr., alleging that his name and image had been used without permission and that he hadn't been properly compensated for his work. The case drew attention from fans who had once cheered him on as the shop's rising star. Though the matter was eventually settled, the fallout left Cody deeply disheartened. After that, Cody stepped away from the spotlight. He chose a quieter life, far removed from television cameras and lawsuits. He had the talent, the drive, and the charm to carry the legacy of custom motorcycles into the next generation. But the cost of fame proved too high. Which American Chopper member did you love the most? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. And don't forget to click the next video showing on your screen. You won't want to miss it.